Welcome to today's broadcast of Living Text with Elroy. I'm your host, Elroy Matt, and today we're going to be talking about Charlie Kirk. Really disappointed when I saw what happened with Charlie Kirk. What disappointed me the most is that, you know, Charlie Kirk is young, married, he's got children, 3 children. I got 3 children, and I got a wife. And so a man was killed for views that he had on certain topics. I know he may have been, he may have had a strong view on a lot of the topics that he dealt with. Um, and I've seen a lot of people of color have had, some skin in a little bit of in some of the discussions that he had. But now, we need to get to a point as a nation, South Africa. We need to get to a point where we are open to dialogue, open to debate and discussions. Charlie Kirk basically would go on and have a debate with someone, and they would basically just trade ideas. And in that way, you're able to understand what the other party is thinking, and the other party is able to understand the point of view that you come from. But not to kill someone who's married, has children, has a wife, for a view that he has that you disagree with. I think that was inappropriate. The action that was taken was certainly not acceptable, and we need to, no matter from which side of the aisle you are, we all need to get to a point um, where we condemn such acts. Condemn. That's one. We need to strongly condemn violent act for someone having their own perspective on the topic. Two, uh, living text is a Bible based worldview commentary. So when this happened, the first thing that I did was I went straight to the scriptures to see what is the Lord trying to tell us about what's happening. So I went to Isaiah chapter 9 verse 10. He was killed on the 10th. That's what Isaiah chapter 9 verse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read Isaiah chapter 9, chapter 10, chapter 11, and 12. Okay? And then I'm going to leave chapter 13 as like a deluxe. So stay with me now. Okay, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 10. The brick buildings have fallen, but we will replace them with stone buildings. The beams of sycamore have been cut down, but we will replace them with the finest cedar. That's 10. 11. The Lord has stirred up their enemies to attack them. 12. Syria on the east and Philistia on the west have opened their mouths to devour Israel. Yet, even so, the Lord's anger is not ended. His hand is still stretched out to punish. That's chapter 10, 11, 12. Now we'll get to chapter 13 in a little bit. So it talks about these bricks having fallen in chapter 10. And you think about uh, Charlie Kirk as like a brick, one that's fallen off of the building, which is a tragedy. However, the Lord gives us comfort, and He says, the brick buildings are fallen down, but we will replace them with stone buildings. So this gives us the courage to know that one voice has fallen, but now from this one voice, we're gonna have now, you know, like a plethora of other voices that are gonna emerge, that will carry the mantle that this one voice has fallen had. However, now it's gonna be this brick falling, being split into multiple pieces of stone. Now, these stone we're gonna use to build a building, and as we know, stone can also refer to gems. So the brick can now has fallen. It can now be turned into gems. You know, That's chapter 10. Chapter 11. Okay, no. Part B of chapter 10. Okay, stone buildings. The beams of sycamore wood have been cut down, but we will replace them with the finest cedar. So, the death of Charlie Kirk is basically the birth of a movement, in a sense, a movement of like-minded individuals that are gonna now, uh, you know, speak out, because you didn't silence the voice, so the voice are able to speak out. That's 10. And remember, Charlie Kirk died on September 10th. Okay, now 11. The Lord has stirred up their enemies and attacked them. That's chapter 11. The Lord has stirred up their enemies and attacked them. If you recall, September 11th, 2001, there was the hijacking of, you know, uh, planes. One went into the World Trade Center. One went into on the same day, one went into a Boeing 797, if I'm correct. Went into the Pentagon, the Department of War's, central building. And then one was well, hijacked, not commissioned, hijacked, and you know it was gonna fly all the way to Washington, to crash into the White House. That would have been the worst thing that could have happened in human history, in modern day history. But the third plane that was headed for the White House, the passengers heard of the other two planes and they fought the pilots off, and it crashed in a field, I believe. So everyone in that plane perished. So while the world is mourning Charlie Kirk, the world is also mourning, the terrorist action that took place 24 years ago. You know. So now, what does Isaiah chapter 9 verse 11? What does Isaiah chapter 9:11 say? The Lord has stirred up the Lord has stirred up their enemies to attack them. That's exactly what happened in 9/11/2001, and that's exactly what everyone was reminiscing on 9/11/2025, and also mourning the death of Charlie Kirk, which it created a whole sense of hurt for the world, you know. So chapter 12 then says, Syria on the east and Philistia on the west have opened their mouths to devour Israel. Yet, even so, the Lord's anger is not ended. His hand is still stretched out to punish. So, the suspect has been caught. His father, is a person that handed him in to the authorities. It's a brave act, but it must have been really hard for a man to do that. But I bet if you asked him, he'd say he'd do it again. Yeah. So now we get into chapter 13. The people of Israel have not repented, even though the Lord Almighty has punished them. They have not repented. They have not returned to Him. So that's the sad ending that I'm gonna leave this today's broadcast on. That the world still not repented. The world is yet to repent. First Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14 says, "If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and turn away from the wicked ways, then I, their Lord, will hear their cries and I will heal their land." So if we need the land that we live on, which is the earth, to be healed, we need to repent. We need to repent. South Africa, this is a call to repent. If we can get wicked people out of office and put righteous people into office, the Lord will hear our cries and He will heal the land. That's a promise. Um, Thanks for hanging with me. I'm closing today's broadcast with may the Lord bless you and may the Lord keep you. Shalom.